chain on watch, I can't make my mind up now. I hate when they scheme and plot, I hate when they run around. He talking work on the game, then we gon' gun him down. Feel like you can't bang with 100 rounds.
Yo, what's good guys, it's Steven, and I'm back on the Splitmind channel. It's been a minute, but I'm finally back. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down a sample I made in the style of someone like Metro Boomin, Travis Scott, or Future. If you guys have been keeping up on Instagram, you might have seen that they were all in the studio super recently. But yeah, now I'm going to start breaking down the sample. As you guys can probably hear, it definitely has that dark Metro Boomin type sound, so now I'm going to start breaking down the elements. And before I get started, I actually wanted to let you guys know that I just dropped my Psychedelia V2 sample collection. It has 19 samples in here, definitely some of my best work. This sample is actually included in it, so if you guys want to check it out, there's going to be a link for it down in the description, so be sure to go check that out. But anyways, I'm going to actually go into an old project file, which is where I got the original idea for the sample. So this is what the original idea sounded like when I first started this sample. And as you guys can tell, it sounds pretty stretched and warped, and that's because I actually ran it through my blooper. The blooper basically just chopped it and stretched it and did a lot of stuff to the original melody I played, which I actually don't have anymore. But yeah, once I had this melody, I actually just threw it into a new project file, and then now I'm going to show you guys what I did to it. So once I had it in the project, I actually pitched it down by 3 semitones, and then I also pitched it down by like 20 cents because it was a little bit out of tune. And pretty much all I did to it was just add an EQ to take out some of the low end. And then once I had that, here's what it sounds like. And then once I had that was this top line from the CZ plugin from Arturia. The original preset is called Is Us, and here's the pattern that I played out. And then as far as the processing goes, the first plugin that I added was this plugin called Sketch Cassette, and I added the preset called Unearthed just to give it a little bit of saturation. And then after that, I added my favorite RC20 preset, which is called VHS, and I pretty much just left things how they were. And then the final plugin, which is a plugin I've just been starting to use more recently, is called Meta Filter by Waves. And basically it's just like a filter LFO plugin that makes things sound kind of cool. And I just chose the preset called Seasick. If you guys have watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that I love using the plugin called Pancake on a lot of my top lines. Basically, all this does is that it pans it from the right to left. And then once I had those two, the next sound that I went to is this bass, and it's just a one-shot from one of the Pilgrim one-shot kits on Drumify, and I just played a super simple pattern that sounds like this. So obviously with the bass, I just kept it simple. And then for the processing, the first plugin that I added was the RC20, and I added this transmitting from space preset. It just has a noise on it called the Apollo and a little bit of distortion and digital. And then the only other plugin that I added besides that was this closer percussion R-bass preset that didn't actually do that much. And then the last sound that I actually added was this vocal lead from Contact, and I'll play you guys the final product right now. But so here's what it sounds like after I chopped it and processed it. So the contact bank that I actually used for this is called the Sound Iron Voice of Wind's Addy bank, and I actually really like this bank for like angelic type sounding vocals. And I just chose the preset called Phrase Dark 140 BPM. And this bank is pretty much just all vocal runs, so I just played one note and kind of just let it run. So here's what the original vocal lead sounded like. So obviously that sounds way different from what I have now. So the first plugin that I added was this plugin called Meta Flanger, which is actually one of my favorite flanging plugins, and I just chose the preset called Blur. And then after that, I went into the Pro Q3 and I took out a lot of the lows and mids because the phaser added a lot of harsh frequencies. After that, I just added a telephone EQ to take out a lot of the high end and the low end. And then the last two plugins, and then the second to last plugin that I added was this Valhalla Vintage Verb, which I'm sure you guys have seen other people use. It's one of my favorite reverbs. And then I actually used Pancake again on this, and I just tweaked the mix to about 40%. So once you have all of these elements, here's what they all sound like together. So that's actually pretty much it for the sample. Hopefully you guys learned something and enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more stuff like this. And then also, I have a few new kits uploaded on my Drumify from the last time I posted a YouTube video, so be sure to go check those out. I've been dropping some really fire stuff. And then lastly, be sure to go follow my social medias at StevenSchaefer_ on all platforms. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
On my girl like Tony Hawk, I was born to win, I was born to ball. I was in a high school with your wifey in the store. Walking and spot a check, yeah. Walking and clear out the mall, yeah. Feel like Jacob Ladder.